For simplifying exponential expressions, really all we need to do, because this is what looks the most complicated but really isn't, is we need to just cover up or ignore the other side of the addition side when it is a number to the power of something plus something. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to color code what I'm doing so I don't get too confused. So any number that does not have a variable is going to be in blue, and any number that has a variable is going to be in purple. So I'm going to bring down this 8 times, so we have 9 to the power of x over 2. So because this 2 is connected to this 9, we know that we need to find the square root of 9. Well, the square root of 9 is 3. So we can write that in, but we still need this x, so we can't get rid of this x. Well, we got rid of this denominator, and this is a fraction, so we just bring this little x all the way up there. So we still have this 9 to the power of 3, and all we need to do is literally bring that down. So we have 9 to the power of 3. So now we have our 6 to the power of 2x, and we don't need to divide this up because this doesn't have an addition or subtraction sign in between these pieces of the equation. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to move these around, and because we don't have an equation sign where it's equal to something and an addition or subtraction sign followed with our equal sign, we don't need to subtract something. You don't need to put what you do on one side you do to the other. All we need to do is literally just move them around. So I'm going to take our 8 times 9 to the third, and I'm just going to put them in parentheses so I don't get confused, because it's pretty easy for me to get confused, especially with all of these different numbers, and the color coding helps a lot. So we're going to take our 3 to the power of x times 6 to the power of 2x. Okay, so now we're going to go back over here. Well, 9 to the power of 3 is a pretty large number. 9 to the power of 3 is actually 729. And we're just going to multiply that by 8, but we'll figure that out later. So we have our 3 to the power of x times. So we're going to take our 6 to the power of 2. Well, we know 6 to the power of 2 is 36. 6 times 6 is 36. And then we're going to add in our x and keep it here. Oops, 36. Okay, so now we are going to multiply these together and these together. So 8 times 729 is a pretty large number, but it's not anything to be scared of, especially since we are basically done. So the number 8 times 729 is equal to 5,832. Okay, so the next thing we need to do is just multiply 3 times 36. 3 times 36 is equal to 108. Of course, we have to bring up our little x, and there is nowhere else to go with this problem. If we had something saying x is equal to something, then yeah, we could figure and simplify this out more thoroughly, but we don't know what this number is, so there's nothing to really multiply 5,832 by, because we don't know it. So that is our finished answer, and that is as simplified as we can get for this problem. So for our next problem, we have 4 times 4 to the power of x over 2 plus 6 times 7 to the power of 3x. So, like the last one, the first step is to simplify and kind of break these things up so they don't look as complicated. They're not complicated at all, but they might look a little intimidating at first glance. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pull down this 4. I'm actually going to be using blue for numbers without variables, and I'm going to be using purple for numbers with variables. So 4 is just a regular number, so we have 4 times. Now we need to take our 4 to the power of x over 2, and we need to figure out how to simplify this. Well, we know that because our denominator is 2, we need to find the square root of 4. The square root of 4 is 2. We can't get rid of this x, so because we got rid of this, and this is a fraction, we know that this is just going to be carried up so that it is 2 to the power of x. So now we have 4, now that we've solved that, now we have 4 to the power of positive 6. So we're just going to add that in. And then we have our 7 to the power of 3x. So I'm just going to move these around, and because we don't have an equal to with addition and subtraction signs, we don't have to subtract anything, move anything, like what you do to one side, you do to the other. So this is all just going to stay the same. We're just going to move it around. So we have 4 times 4 to the power of 6. And we have our 2 to the power of x times 7 to the power of 3x. So now that we have those, we can kind of simplify these. So we know that 7 to the power of 3 is equal to 343. And we need to keep this x, so we make sure that we put this up here, times 2 to the power of x. So then we're going to bring down our 4. Now that we have that, 4 to the power of 6 is actually 4,096. It's a pretty large number, but it's nothing to be afraid of. So we have our 4 times 4,096 times our 2 to the power of x and our 343 to the power of x. So 4 times 4,096 is actually equal to quite a larger number. It is 16,384. Now we're just going to multiply this. So 2 times 343 is actually equal to 686. And we still have our x. So if there were a number in place of x, where we were given x is equal to a number, we would be able to further simplify this, but because we don't know what x is, this is as far as we can get. So this is the most simplified that our answer can get to.